So let's start the session. Theme is citizens and One Health. Please be relaxed. In a nutshell, we want to have a discussion on One Health so that people have a good understanding of this approach. Explanation may not the proper word, but how people feel about One Health, that is a theme of this session. What is One Health? What somebody does in their activities, is that One Health or not? Let's have a discussion around these topics together with the people attending this meeting. And there is one thing which quite interesting to me. I come from Kansai part of Japan, and Kanda-san came from Gifu Prefecture to take part in this meeting. And Oka-san of Japan Rescue Association came from Hyogo Prefecture, but comes from Saga. And Fujino-san next to me from Higashi-ku of Fukuoka City, where I lived for 23 years. I come from Osaka, and Ueki-san lives in Chikko, so multiple languages we can find. Chikko dialect, Hakata dialect, Kansai dialect, and I'm not sure Tali dialect exists or not. But anyway, Kanda-san also a Kansai dialect speaker. Let's have a candid discussion. First, let me introduce myself. In April 8 of this year, I set up an organization, One Health Create. Simply saying about One Health approach, that is today's theme of discussion. We would like to work together with other people or citizens to promote public awareness and publicity on One Health. In a nutshell, we want to propagate this concept. From that point of view, I would be happy if the audience have some understanding or a feel of understanding about what we do and our experience at the end of the session. One Health Create, the name itself represents what we want to do in this organization. We want to use various tools and create the contents of One Health together with other people. That is the image I want to convey about this organization. We hope to work together with other groups of people through mutual interactions. That may be the correct image. I thank for your collaboration in advance. As I said already, the goal of this session is to help audience come closer to One Health approach. I hope to proceed this session that way. We have 4 presenters today. It is very nice to see them today. As I already mentioned their names, Kanda-san of Organization Sento Tarui is the lead of PARA. To introduce Kim, he is a Vice Representative Director of Organization Sento Tarui. The head office is located in Gifu Prefecture. There is a river named Ibi, a very beautiful river in Gifu Prefecture. Kanda-san's group use facilities for eco-learning and social education in the areas along this river and provide learning opportunities to children. I have joined one of their activities in the past. They implement a very good project. I hope to see similar activities of theirs in different places all over Japan. I'm looking forward to hearing a lot about their project. He says that a sustainable operation of those project in collaboration with local citizens is the biggest goal. One Health and the natural environment, that is an inseparable theme, and Kanda-san is going to probably talk about that. So let's welcome Kanda-san. Thank you, Shibata-san. It's very nice to see you. I'd like to make the first talk. My name is Kanda. Some of you may be wondering where Gifu Prefecture exists. Like Shibata-san, I'm not from Gifu. I was born and raised in Kyoto. Tarui has its own local language, but I'm not good at speaking Tarui language even after living there for more than 20 years. Please allow me to speak this way, Kansai local language. Promotion of One Health through networking along Ibi River. I borrow the phrase One Health for this title. I have been involved in the creation of a cyclical society along Ibi River. I coined the word Onpo. Onpo community means gentle and affluent community. We want to send a message. There must be a form of community better than being edgy and competitive. Such kind of a community, of course, should embrace One Health philosophy, being inclusive of animals, ecosystems, as well as humans. That's why I coined this word. Where is Tarui in the first place, you may wonder? There is a well-known place named Sekigahara near the border of Shiga and Gifu prefectures. Tarui is its neighbor, in walking distance of Sekigahara. That may be more easy to understand way of explanation, but we are near to Mie prefecture as well. Tarui is close to the crossing point of borders of three prefectures along the middle stream of the river. To give the overview, the headwaters of Ibi River are located on the border with the Fukui Prefecture. It starts from the border of Gifu and Fukui and runs downwards over 121 kilometers, twice longer in length than Yabe River of Fukuoka. It runs within Gifu until it reaches Mie Prefecture at its mouth. When we say we have a network along this river, it means a network of about 20 NPOs located along the river. We do joint projects such as the River Cleaning Campaign and the event of Earth Day Ibi River. Eco-activity should extend wide in operation, but there to be hurdles to cross the border with the Mie Prefecture. We couldn't work with the organizations and schools Mie, but thanks to Chubu Office Ministry of the Environment, we can carry out our activities across the border from 2016. I'll explain about the Ibi River. The flow is rapid in this river, very fast. Generally speaking, Japan's rivers are fast in flow, but among Kiso three major rivers, Kiso, Nagara, and Ibi, Ibi River is the fastest. You can see the cross-section of the lower reach of the river down there. People live in the land lower than all these rivers. It's horrible. It's very hard in terms of disaster prevention. Why people still want to live there? The land is fertile, productivity is very high, it has good access to public transportation, that's why. Some part of Gifu prefecture used to be called Mino no Kuni. Mino no Kuni used to be written like water and field in Japanese kanji letters. The place is rich in water, the precipitation twice larger than the national average. This means heavy snow in the upstream area of Ibi River, sometimes up to 2 meters height of snow. I'm often asked, like, you live in Gifu, don't you? But the Tarui, where I live in, is on the periphery of Nobi Plain with a little snowfall. But if you drive about 1 hour from Tarui, you may find yourself in a more mountainous place with the 2 meters snow. Ibi River runs through such a place. The upstream area where snow falls up to 2 meters in water has the Tokuyama Dam on the most upstream side. Its storage capacity is 3 times as large as that of Hamana Lake. This is the biggest rock-filled dam in Japan. At the right top, this is a house with a thatched roof. We want to convert this kind of a house to a base of our environment education as a joint work with the Environment Ministry. The picture of left left bottom is Mount Ibuki, sitting around the border with the Shiga. The east side of this mountain, Gifu side, is known as a home of medicinal herbs. The picture of right bottom is what we call Ibizu Machu Picchu, the area of wild tea plantation. The area around the middle of the river is rich farmland. There are industrial clusters as well. Industrial Okaki City is next to Tarui. The left bottom is the picture of Tarui. There used to be Nakasendo Tarui Shuku a long time ago, a post station along a folk street of Minoji, a bypass between Nakasendo and the Tokaido lines. This was big before, but now is much less populated. This is Tarui, and the right bottom is Yoro Falls in Mino. The downstream is very unique. The word Waju, you may have learned of Waju in class of society at the elementary or junior high school. These are three major rivers. From the right, Kiso, Nagara, and Ibi. The place is enclosed with these rivers. The downtown area is much lower than the surface of the river. There are rice fields. The rice fields is very rich, high productivity. The river is 121 kilometers in length, not so long, but offer totally different landscapes from upstream to downstream. That is totally different characteristics of environment. Children around the downstream Mie may know little about the upstream. Where is that? How do they live there? It's quite difficult for them to know such things. There may be something we can do for them to learn each other. That's the reason we started to work together with the Environment Ministry to promote environment education. This is about ESG. For education of sustainable development, we prepared materials in the first year and built 8 bases. That was the start. In the second year, we hosted a tour for high school students, 1 night, 2 days, to follow the river. That was a crazy tour, and 2 months later, these high school students took initiative to have Ibi River Future Forum. The following year, they guided the elementary scholars through the river basin. Zone of Ibi River Basin, we discussed that kind of things with them. This is an example of our materials, educational materials, DVD, booklets, and picture story cards. About a DVD, if you make a search for Ibi River MOE Chubu Office, you can find 4 YouTube videos. Why don't you have a look? The 8 bases are indicated with red dots, located from the fishing port up to Tokuyama Dam. The middle one, this dot near Sekigahara, is Mizunowa, the base of our NPO, an old folk house of 100-year history. We use this as a base, a core facility of activities such as a fair trade shop and others. This is from the river tour we had with high school students. The picture of a left top was taken at the Tokuyama Dam. The former village mayor is explaining about the forest near here. His story had a big impact on these students, a powerful story told by a person who had lived there for a long time. His thought about the nature, his philosophy of being allowed to be alive. It was very touching to the teenagers. The former village mayor was his 80s. The right bottom is the landscape at the mouth of the river, Akasuka fishing port. They could see how fishermen went out fishing or came back, and the auction market of fish as well. They had a frank conversation with young fishermen and asked a lot of questions because a fishery business was not familiar to them. 2 months later, This was in Kuwana City, most downstream. Ibi River Future Forum was held. Let's classify the bases they visited in terms of SGDs by different colors. That was a challenge to them. Whether we should give a pre-lecture about SGDs or not, we discussed and decided to leave it to them. They had flexible minds. They made questions to the adult staff and came up with new and unique ideas. We could learn a lot from them. This was in the following year. The high schoolers who joined the previous year's tour were divided into groups by the zones of the river, up, middle, and downstream, depending on the location of their schools, Dao in Mie, middle in Tarui, and so on. They were asked to bring some quizzes that would be given to younger children in a bus tour. They had to prepare the answers to their own question as well. And each base hosted a tour for them to guide elementary schoolers and listen to grandmas and grandpas about the hometown. In spite of our worry, they did a good job. Young children asked a lot to them. Although that was their first experience, there was no room for us to intervene. So these are what we have done in the past 3 years. About the upstream forest, we hope to revive it, but that is not easy. That is left abandoned in a sense. But if we can do that, people would reconsider the import of lumbers. The farmlands in the middle zone may also left abandoned with no cultivations. We may be able to restore them, leading to a higher rate of food self-sufficiency, less dependency on imported foods that match the SDGs, less starvation. Downstream fishing ground and the industrial factories, protecting these facilities may be very important. Children would realize the importance of these things. The ideas would extend to overseas as well. We learned that kind of things. About 100 years ago, the cyclic society was taken for granted. Let's think about that. We spoke to them. If we read Fukuoka's principal ordinance of One Health promotion, I can convince myself, yes, these activities will meet the purpose of this ordinance. And this is well related to Onpo community I advocate at the NOP Tarui. The base of Ibi River SEG takes the river basin seriously to understand the community as composed of different zones of river basin. But still they tend to think of their lives within their limits of the imagination. They need to have a look at the areas they didn't know that give them an opportunity to think about the next connection. Locality is powerful. And the first-hand stories are powerful. Inter-school interactions mean a lot to high schoolers. Handing over such experience to younger children or a succession of ideas across generations has more and more impact. This is just one example of our activities for One Health. I hope this may help, if any. In this way, we now advocate the creation of local cyclical symbiotic community along Ibi River. Recreation of river basin cyclical society. I would say recreation because we used to have it. There must be a lot of clues locally. Food, water, energy, money, people. Stronger connections are necessary among them. This matches well the concept of One Health promotion. crossover collaboration beyond the sectionalism, administration, private business, and ordinary citizens is necessary. This is not a yes or no question. There are many correct answers. We have to learn. Let's start from the neighborhood and the household daily life. That is our slogan. Lastly, I'd like to say Fukuoka has also wonderful communities of based along the basin of Onga, Chikugo, and Yabe rivers. You may have learning opportunities and advance One Health approach together. I'd be very happy if I can have a chance to learn from you. Time is up, so thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kanda-san. I have joined this Ibi River tour once in the past. This is a very beautiful place. I recommend you to visit someday in the future. Kanda-san is coming back later, but yes, let's move on. Next is from Okawa City, Fukuoka Prefecture. Chairman Ueki Sangyo. His name sounds wonderful. Ueki means planting of trees. That's exactly what he does. Ueki-san may have been born to be a furniture businessman. What he does now is very interesting. He plants trees, but that is not all he does. He works together with people of forest unions of neighborhoods. Do you know a tree named Chinaberry? A broadleaf tree. This tree matures very rapidly. It grows faster than other types of trees. Ueki-san concentrates his effort on planting Chinaberry. He has a long history of environment-related activities that is truly linked with One Health approach. Perhaps we can hear his story about this Chinaberry tree and the project he is now working on. I was looking forward to hearing his talk. Let's welcome Ueki-san. Hello everyone. Let's start. A town of wood industry, a town of wood crafting, a town of furniture. I came here from such a place, Okawa City, Fukuoka Prefecture. Okawa reminds us of a furniture business, but the materials for furniture productions are almost all 99% imported from other countries. One day, I thought the times have changed. Let's start using Japanese trees to make furniture. Let's start from tree planting, forestation for furniture making. We should take that stance and help Okawa to grow. I invited the people who agreed and made a start of this project 3 years ago. I planted trees. I'm Ueki. Here, these are the topics I would like to cover: the history of Okawa furniture, and as mentioned before, Chinaberry, Senda in Japanese language. Why Senda tree? And what we have to do, build a cyclic society, and how to reach this goal through Sosai Sendai project. Future project, please bear with me till the end of my presentation. First about Okawa. Okawa is located around the most downstream of Chikugo River. That's why Okawa, meaning a big river in Japanese. We look onto Ariake Sea next to Okawa. Chikugo River has its waterheads in Aso and runs along more northern parts. Many years ago, people used to bring cedar trees and raft down in this river like this. During the Second World War, people made a training aircraft for Zero fighter pilots of Japan's military force. I hear that the people used their wood crafting technique and made about 150 propeller fighters made of wood. Anyway, Okawa is a furniture city with a 480-year history. Under such circumstances, I wanted to do something to use Okawa's original resources and reconsider the materials for furniture we produce toward a cyclic, sustainable society. That is why I started the Sendai project. As shown in this picture, on the left side, you can find these kind of trees in many places along the creeks, on the banks of Okawa River, and in the flatland. They exist from many years before. This is a sendan, or China berry. Sendan has a beautiful shape. It grows in all directions, but there is a technique to grow a sendan straight, like shown in the right picture. The technique is called mekaki, nipping of side sprouts. Senda tree takes about 20 years to become grown up. If this nipping technique is applied when the trees are young at the age of 2 to 3 years, they will go up straight. 20 years. The tree in this picture was cut down when it was 13 years old. You can tell the age of a tree by looking at the growth rings. I counted them myself. So this tree took 13 years to grow up to the size of 43 centimeters in diameter. For the sake of comparison, Japanese cypress of the similar size, 39 to 40 centimeters, took 65 years to grow, much slower than Senda by factor 3. There are some differences between needle leaf tree and broad leaf tree, but for the purpose of wood block production, broad leaf tree is the main source from long time ago. Sendan grows very rapidly like this, and then why don't we plant this tree? More and more people agreed, and we started this project 3 years ago. We approached our neighbors. We have no mountains in Okawa, only flatland. At about 15 to 16 kilometers, there is a mountain area named Yameshi. I got good friends with the head of the forestry cooperation. When I raised this project in conversation with him, he said he wanted to plant Sendai trees in his mountain. It was 3 years ago. We had the first event of Sendai planting in his mountain, and the other people followed one after another, saying, "Please come plant Sendai in my place as well." This project is still going on. We have already 3,000 several hundred Sendan trees already. The number is still growing. This photo was taken in front of the city hall of Osaka. There is no mountain, only flat land in Okawa, but the Sendai grows in flat land as well. People came to have more and more interest in this project and eventually decided to grow Sendan as Okawa's tree. These are the pictures taken on that occasion. Sendan means a lot to us. We can plant a Sendai in the density of 400 trees per hectare, resulting in 100 grown-up trees eventually. But we are still in the process of trial and error. We try a lot, for example, changing the plant density to 1,000 or 500. Again, this about Sendan tree. We use natural Sendan trees for business, but the right one is planted the tree over 6 years of age. The wood panel made from 6-year-old planted Sendan is shown here in the bottom. The left pinkish one is a panel from 20 years old Sendan. The color may change a little bit over time, but Sendan can be converted to this kind of a commercial product from 6 years of age. They are examples of Okawa furniture made from Sendan panels. Tables, counters, cupboards. We made these pieces of furniture and showed at an exhibition event in 2017. This is another example. We hosted this exhibition event this year and received very positive reactions from customers. They said, "If you can do this wonderful job with the Sendan tree, why don't you turn them into a new brand. So let's create another project with the Sendan. Let's use the name of Sendan and establish a Sendan brand. Then we did that actually. This one. We created this chart for promotion purpose. Simply saying, we invite small children, 4 to 5 years old, and plant a Sendan trees together with them. 14 to 15 years later, when they come for age, then we would like to invite them again and present some piece of Sendan furniture to the kindergartens and the nursing homes they were looked after. We are now working on that kind of project. This should not be just a voluntary work. This must be continued as a business. We want to do a good business along this cycle with the Sendan. We industrial group members send a message to mountainside parties, send another message to downstream parties, and draft an exit strategy. By running this kind of a cycle, we can grow our business, provide a product, and plant new trees. This is exactly how our business can be sustainable. We are still working to establish this cycle. This can be a good business. We have been planting Sendai for 3 to 4 years now. What do we do? What do we use to make our furniture now? We have natural Sendan trees a lot in Itoshima, Fukuoka. Fortunately, birds drop the Sendan trees. Sendan trees have grown up on natural soil. The other day, we found trees of a size of 40 to 50 centimeters and cut them down. So surprisingly, Kyushu has many favorable places near the coast where birds drop seeds and let the trees grow. But they are natural with the branches spreading in all directions, but we want to manage to commercialize them and make and sell furniture as a business. If we wait for 15 years and 20 years and try to first sell a Sendai product, it wouldn't work. So from now, we go inside the forest and find better shaped trees and make a product and sell them in the market. And this is about SGDs. Number 12, responsibility of producing and using. 13, climate change. 14, wealth in ocean. 15, wealth on land. Planting a Sendan meets exactly these goals. We have created this mark for branding of Sendan. The white smaller circle represents people. The bigger one is a Sendan. They support each other. They are revolving with a connection belt, meaning sustainability. With this trademark, we propagate the message furniture production is a forest production through Okawa's producers and mountain owners as well. They react very positively and welcome this message. A lot of invitations come to us. If you are interested in this kind of a business, we are ready to visit your site anytime. I'm looking forward to seeing you again and planting Sendai together. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ueki-san. I can recognize your unique way of speaking. Actually, that is the way of speaking of men of the Showa era, men with passion. People of the Showa era speak that way. I was born in Showa as well. We speak with passion. His talk stirred my heart, and I wanted to ask more about his Sendan project later. Thank you very much anyway. Then next speaker came all the way from Hyogo Prefecture, Itami City, where they have Itami Airport. Oka-san, Executive Director, Japan Rescue Association. I Once asked Oka-san what made him start this project he had been doing, he answered that was the Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake. That was the trigger. That is what he said. Based on his own experience, he made the first step of the project to train disaster rescue dogs and therapy dogs, and also to take care of abandoned and abused dogs and find new owners for them. This is a superb project. He is one of the true practitioners, I believe. How he understands the One Health approach in their activities and connect with others, we can hear a lot of his ideas today. Now, Oka-san, your turn. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. I am Oka, Executive Director, Japan Rescue Association. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak at the subcommittee session Citizens and One Health of One Health International Forum 2021 in Fukuoka. I'm very happy to be able to introduce our activities, and it is a great honor for me to be with you here. Thank you very much. The title of my talk is Pet Animals Who Serve in Search and Rescue at the Disasters in Therapy and in Supportive Care for Disabled Children. I'll spend a few minutes to explain how we related ourselves to One Health approach. First is the overview of Japan Rescue Association. We set up this organization soon after the Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake in 1995. We have been doing various things mainly in Kansai area in the past 25 years. There are three major projects we do. First, training and dispatching disaster rescue dogs. Second, train and lend therapy dogs. Third, animal welfare work. These are the three pillars of a project. First, about the disaster rescue dogs. In 1995, the Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake occurred. At that time, many disaster rescue dogs were brought into Japan. We call them as disaster rescue dogs in Japan, but to be accurate, they are such dogs. They were brought in, but there used to be little understanding on their roles in Japan because of administrative procedures, quarantine at the airport regulations, Rabies Prevention Act and so on. They were blocked and not allowed to do their job. They may have been able to rescue some people who could possibly have survived. This experience made us set up Japan's Rescue Association in September 1st, 1995. In other countries, the history of rescue dogs seems to have started in late 17th century. You may think of such a dog in your mind, a giant St. Bernard dog kept in a monastery in Switzerland with a small barrel around the neck, sent out to rescue somebody who got lost in a snow mountain. So pet animals are used as working dogs for rescue purpose from long time ago. Second is about a therapy dog. We started our work from 1995 as a Japan Rescue Association, and one day we brought rescue dogs to a Christmas party, which was held for children who had lost their parents in the earthquake. They had lost their smiles, but in the moment when they saw the dogs, they made big smiles. We took notice of the possibility of therapy dogs at the time. For 25 years since then, we have been involved in training and lending therapy dogs as well. Third one is animal welfare. As I introduced, pet animals are used a lot in the fields of healthcare, welfare, and education. That sometimes they may fall victim to abuse or placed to a lethal process. This is a social problem. They can work for human society. It is only humans who can rescue such dogs. For that reason, we are involved in this animal welfare project as well. Japan Rescue Association works around these three projects. About One Health and the Japan Rescue Association, first we need to understand One Health approach. Dr. Kurauchi, President of Japan Veterinary Medical Association, said said, the idea of One Health is based on the understanding that the human health, animal health, and the healthy environment are inseparable from each other. The problems that humans, animals, and environment face now can be solved only through collaboration among physicians, veterinarians, researchers, and government, private companies, and the citizens like us, grassroots movement. The 6 categories of One Health are listed up here, starting from zoonotic infection control to good relationships among environment, human, and animals. There may be something the Japan Rescue Association is related to. I would like to make a little comment on that. First, control of zoonotic infections. Several years ago, we were contacted by a big hospital located in Osaka. They wanted to do something to encourage the sick children who stayed at the hospital for a long time. They were interested in use of therapy dogs, but there was a big and serious problem for them to do that. That was the issue of zoonotic infections. We used our brain to find an answer to clear this issue. We asked the president of Osaka Veterinary Medical Association to kindly give a lecture to healthcare staff of the hospital. Based on the correct understanding about the zoonotic infections, they decided to allow therapy dogs to come inside the hospital. 4 years have passed since we started this project, and we are expanding the project for the goal that we can see therapy dogs working in all hospitals. In 2020, this year, because of new coronavirus, we could not move as we wished, but the project itself is widening. One more thing is about environmental protection. Global climate change causes torrential rains, typhoons, forest fires, and other disasters. In recent years, we witnessed serious disasters in Kyushu and other west part of Japan. Animals and plants, as well as humans, suffer serious damage in disasters. Rescue dogs and therapy dogs may seem to have a little things to do with directly with environmental protection, but they are pet animals, dogs and cats. They can work as rescue dogs and therapy dogs for human beings and heal the heart of sufferers. They welcome these dogs and more easily recognize the importance of these dogs. So this may make a good entry for people to understand the importance of environment protection and creation of inclusive society. We believe our work as a Japan Rescue Association is related to this as well. The society needs these dogs, need them to be part of their lives. I'd add something more about the rescue dogs. They use their very sensitive sense of spelling and search people. These days, we bring rescue dogs in many disaster sites and help searching people who are missing. Besides natural disasters, there are sometimes requests that they want to use rescue dogs to look for persons who got lost in mountains or to help firefighters to search people. They can help disaster education as well. Various types of disasters can occur anytime. Good understanding of the role of rescue dogs is conducive to the inclusive society for both humans and dogs. The right side of photo was taken at the Hyogo's High School. This school has a special course to learn disaster management. We give lectures in this course of disaster education with a focus on research dogs. Fukuoka Prefecture and the Japan Rescue Association are now under negotiation to have an agreement about the use of rescue dogs. This also suggests that the development of inclusive society and our effort to come into line. This is about the therapy dogs. It said that through interactions with the therapy dogs, people can be more relaxed and feel less anxiety and stress. People laugh more and have more conversation. They are helpful to improve people's health and quality of life. In hospitals, with the presence of therapy dogs, patients can be more positive even when they are on chemotherapy, they can be more motivated to fight their diseases. Positive impact on the effect of medical therapy. Positive impact may be observed in mental health of patient families. The picture on the left is a treatment room. Children are afraid and don't want to come inside it. The treatment room because of uncomfortable experience of injections or testing. But if a dog comes together, they will say they want to try. The right one is ICU. Based on a correct understanding of zoonotic infections, dogs are carefully taken of and trained. They can work even in this kind of strictly controlled areas. In regard to animal health, animal welfare, in spite of the roles of rescue dogs and therapy dogs who can help people, we need to tackle the social challenge of increasing cases of physical abuse and the killing against pet animals. We rescue dogs who have lost their owners for some reason or another and look for new owners for them. We trade them as therapy dogs if it seems to be a possible choice, and return them to human society. Dogs can work, dogs can help people. We demonstrated that in the community. These two dogs are brothers. We rescued them a few days before they would be put into sleep at the local health center of Kochi Prefecture. Now they work as therapy dogs. One aspect of One Health approach is health promotion. I feel very happy to see this. One Health says that subjective sense of being healthy is also very important. Health in One Health approach is not the status body measured with some criteria or indication, whatever physical conditions they are or they have, ill or not, weak or strong. Humans or animals can be healthy if they keep the comfortable status physically, mentally, and socially. Nobody should disrespect their desire to be healthy in that sense. And about our therapy dogs, I'm not sure how to say, but to obtain good evidence with numerical data, that is very important, and that is true. With good evidence, our project can expand and gain a good foothold in the society. But through my own experience with these dogs, I believe that being able to feel better, take more positive attitude, more forward and move forward and make more smiles, such subjective changes are important as well. One Health points out the importance of this aspect. This is an encouragement and a support to our efforts. We have a big expectation of One Health approach. And this shot was recent one. This person suffered the Great East Japan earthquake. She lives in Akamaishi City, Iwate Prefecture. She is one of the victims of earthquake, but she works as a community volunteer and has a lot of interactions with us. People in affected areas often use the word restoration of their heart. It seems to mean that they can return to be like before a disaster. She must feel distress because of her experience of earthquake. But she said she can hold on till the next visit of therapy. She is looking forward to seeing therapy dogs again. In her daily life, meeting with the therapy dogs is one of the things she is awaiting. This episode also tells us that our work with therapy dogs means a lot. As conclusion, 2020 was a special historical year. Because of COVID-19 pandemic, we were forced to reconsider our work as well as a therapy dog project fundamentally. In this kind of a era, the concept of One Health, that humans, animals, and the natural environment are all connected closely, that is a very critical theme. Humans and animals are connected in One Health. That is a global wish. I totally agree. Our Japan Rescue Association would like to continue our own activities and promote this One Health approach. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Oka-san. I can understand your activities at the Japan Rescue Association in rescue, therapy, and others very clearly. Thank you very much. Then we are going to have the last presentation. He comes from Fukuoka-ku, Higashi-ku, Fukuoka-shi. I used to live there for 23 years. Fujino-san, Vice Administrative Director, NPO P-SAPONET. Fujino-san's work, what he does and want to do in the future is very interesting. His work is related to something people cannot avoid if they want to interact with pet and other animals, that is related to life of people and animals. Fujino-san is trying to build the foundation to solve the problems with a focus on this. We may learn a lot through his talk. We may use a word, he may use a word, posthumous presentation, not a household word, but how he wants to use this system. Please listen to his talk carefully. Thank you. Then Fujino-san, your turn. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Fujino, Vice Administrative Director, NPO P-SAPONET. I appreciate having this wonderful opportunity to be with you. Let's get straight to the talk about our work. The topic I would like to cover is Love Pochi Trust Fund based on the basic philosophy of One Health. This Love Pochi Fund is related to posthumous presentation, as Shibata-san mentioned before. This is the agenda of my talk. First, I would like to introduce our NPO organization, P-SAPONET, with a movie. And later, I'd like to explain in more detail about the Love Pochi Fund as a specific solution for the problem we face. And lastly, how this project related to One Health and what we want to do in the community will be discussed. Let's have a video first. Hello, we are NPO P-SAPONET. This NPO P-SAPONET was established in November 1st, 2017 for the purpose to help old people enjoy their life with pet animals. We were certified as a public service corporation by Fukuoka City in August 2019. Since then, we have been promoting Love Pochi Trust Fund in a full scale. Why do we want to promote this fund scheme, and what kind of problem do we want to solve in the community? I'll explain. As the population ages and fewer babies are born in Japan, the way of living with the pet animals are changing as well. They become family members. Spending time with pet animals is said to make owners, particularly old owners, feel better both physically and mentally. Positive impact from medical viewpoints have been reported in other countries as well. In Japan also, animal therapy draws attention among medical communities. Living together with pets in the same household means a lot, particularly in Japan's aging society. But in Japan, it is getting more difficult for older people to adopt a new pet as their family members. Why is that? Animal Welfare and Management Act was revised in 2013. As a result of this revision, it is mandatory for pet owners to take care of their pet through their life. The obligation of lifelong care of pet animals have been stimulated for the first time in the history. This is wonderful news in terms of animal welfare, but in terms of welfare of old people, this have them face a very serious problem. They are old. They may end up dying before their pet. They may fall ill and find nobody else who can take care of their pets for them. Why this kind of a problem occurs, though people know the benefit of life with the pet animals. This is because of silo-type bureaucracy. It is the Minister of the Environment who wants to reduce the number of lethally disposed dogs and cats, and it is the Ministry of Health who want to think about welfare of old people. Both the ministries draft their policies with no mutual communication to accomplish their mission, causing this kind of problem. PSupportNet's idea is to penetrate Love Porch Trust Fund in the community and they fill up this gap of administration so that a fewer number of dogs and cats are subject to the lethal disposal by the authority, and elderly people can enjoy their happy lives with their pets. The goal our PSupportNet want to achieve is zero killing of pet animals and zero pet loss in elderly people. That means the creation of a gentle and enriched society. Both the humans and the pets can live their lives safely and comfortably. As of 2018, a total of 38,444 dogs and cats were killed in Japan by the government agency. 15,682 dogs and cats could have been rescued if there were new owners who could adapt them. An increasing number of people have to be ready to be new owners for them. But the population itself is aging. The population of potential new owners may be decreasing as well. Then we have to create a social environment where elderly people can be new owners as well. That's why we need to Love Porch Trust Fund. With Love Porch Trust Fund, elderly people can be new owners of pets. With Love Porch Trust Fund, they don't need to worry about what is going to happen to their pets in case they die first. PSupportNet is going to take care of them through their life. This can lead to lower rates of dementia, longer healthy life, reduce the cost of nursing and medical services, and other benefits. We can move forward to a gentle and enriched society. It may look like a detour, however, we believe that this is quite a humane, best way to realize that kind of a society. We do our best to help realize a gentle and enriched society as early as possible. We expect your support. More information is available at the free dial number 010128262. Happy life of the dogs and the cats. Well, thank you very much. We do this kind of a project as you saw in this video. We believe that the Love Porch Trust Fund contribute to the realization of a healthy and stress-free life for both humans and animals, whatever happened outside their lives. This means they can secure the feeling of security and happiness in their lives. Subjective feeling of security and happiness cannot be evaluated numerically. They differ from a person to a person. That is my thought. Are you really happy only if you can live long? Even if you know you may die soon, you can be happy. How and when you feel happy is not the same to all people. Living together with pets must give a feeling of happiness to many people. It is very sad that older people give up staying with pets because of their ages. Such a story itself is a sad society. If so, it is necessary to create some system in this society which makes it possible for older people to be with their pets safely however old they are. Here, I need to explain Lavaporti Trust Fund, what kind of mechanisms I'm talking about, and how does it solve the problem. I would like to explain that here briefly. First, the pet owner purchases life insurance from an ordinary private life insurance company, and they sign up a contract with a trust bank or a trust company. In this trust contract, the pet owner appoints us, P. Saponet, as a beneficiary of insurance money, as we would adapt and take care of his or her pet in case they die before their pet. The owner and we need to sign posthumous presentation contract. This is a very important contract. Their pet, dog or cat, is part of inheritance of the owner. Without this posthumous presentation contract, they will be inherited by heirs. If the heirs take a good care of the pet left behind, then that is fine. But as you saw in the video, the family size becomes smaller and smaller because of housing situation or relations with the neighbors. Sometimes they may not be able to keep pet animals at their homes. In order to avoid such kind of a risk, to save the life of a pet whatever happens, the owner needs to be signed this posthumous presentation contract with us. In case the owner dies, the life insurance company would pay insurance money to us through the trust company. We can be a new owner of the pet based on this posthumous presentation contract. That is the mechanism. After reception of the insurance money, we contact nursing homes for old dogs and cats and sick or weak pets. We are in partnership with a total of 13 animal nursing homes in Japan. They are going to look after the pet at the expenses we would pay from the received money of life insurance. We trust them to keep the pet and pay the expensive nursing service throughout the pet life. If they are young and healthy, we'll be looking for new owners who can adapt them and watch how they keep the pet. If the new owner want to or have to quit keeping the adopted pet, we are going to ask an animal nursing home to adapt and take care of the pet at the expenses, and we are going to pay the money at expenses from the insurance money received. That is the mechanism. Some people may have difficulty in buying a life insurance policy. In such a case, we would ask them to write a will and leave some amount of money for care of their pet. We have partnership with the specialists who are qualified to help owners with drawing up that kind of a will. If the owner stays in a hospital or nursing home for a long time, their pet is exposed to risk of their life. We would make necessary arrangement at partnership facilities for the pet to be looked after. Nowadays, many owners live alone, only with their pets. If they live on their own at home, we can offer the service of safety check to confirm their owner's conditions. Under these kinds of safe and secure systems in place, the owners enjoy a happy life together with their pets in a feeling of being healed. Lastly, the goal we hope to achieve in the future. We desire to see zero killing and abuse of pet animals. In order to do that, we have to increase new owners. But as shown in the video, the society is getting more and more aged. There must be some mechanism that even elderly people can adopt pet animals as new owners. In order to create such environment, we would like to promote this Love Approach Trust Fund. Pets would receive lifelong care. The incidence of dementia would be reduced. The healthy life would be prolonged. The total nursing and medical service cost for elderly people would be reduced, and eventually we will be able to see the realization of gentle and enriched society. Human health, animal health, and environmental health, all these things could be maintained. We hope to promote the One Health approach through these kind of activities in the community. So that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Fujino-san. This is a story we can rarely hear about. This is my first time to hear the word posthumous presentation. I think this is a must that all pet owners think about seriously. If you want to keep pets, you are obliged to look after them through their life. This is a very good suggestion. So, we have heard various types of activities they do. They have their own unique points. Is there anybody who wants to ask a question or comment specifically? This is a very good opportunity to ask. Is there anybody for any presenter? No? Kanda-san, you can join. Yes, I'd like to join the discussion remotely. May I? Yes? Thank you very much. I have met and talked with Eki-san a few times before, so I'd like to ask Oka-san. I'm not sure whether this is a suitable question to you or not, Oka-san, but I want to ask anyway. I mainly work around the river basin, particularly upstream area. Harmful animals cause a serious problem. I think Ueke-san knows this problem very well. There are many wild boars, deer, and even bear in the forest of Gifu. So, how should we do with them? Without exception, people living in these villages are old. One village we visit oftentimes has only 14 households. It's easy to reach consensus in such a small village. They have decided to keep hunting dogs at large at night time. That may be one way to keep harmful wild animals away, but not all villages can do that. Keeping hunting dogs itself is not an easy task. Like Fujino-san said before, keeping hunting dogs is too much risk. Rescue Association is a specialist organization for animals. If we can do something to help them in these less populated villages, in mountainous areas, it can be a project to promote One Health. I was wondering that way. This may be just a theoretical possibility. I'm a lay person, but would you give us some comments? Yes, thank you very much. To be honest, I'm not so aware of evidence that hunting dogs would repel harmful wild animals, but I'm often consulted on this kind of a problem. We are expanding the areas of our activities nationwide. For example, there is one project we are now planning in Saga Prefecture. They want to do something to keep wild boars from coming into the village. They suggest us using dogs at night, but if we have no hunting dogs, they cannot keep dogs at large in their village at night time either. So they think that the smell of dogs or barking of rescue dogs who are trained to bark when necessary may send a signal to wild animals that there are dogs in the village, but I'm not sure how effective that approach is against wild boars. It may be interesting to work with Kanda-san and run a trial to see the effect of such techniques against wild boars. But it's also said that if dogs are kept in a doghouse or inside houses at night, wild boars come to know that and show up again only in the night. I'm not sure, but I'd be happy to do together if there is something we can do. Thank you very much. Yes, a good decision. Well, I made a similar question before about the damage by wild animals such as a deer and a boar. If we could ask them why they want to do that kind of things, they would probably answer that this is our fault because the humans have destroyed natural environment. There is no other choice but for them to be harmful to human beings. I feel they would say that it may be not reasonable only to blame them. In addition, we eat them. So, as both Kanda-san and Oka-san said before, this is about the basis part of a One Health approach. This is an important topic for people to think about. If natural environment was not damaged, they would not have been called harmful animals. Yes, thank you very much, Shibata-san. Broadleaf trees cause a big problem once they get old. Broadleaf trees used to be cut down and used as firewood or charcoals, but they are left alone nowadays. We have no furniture industry in our city, so there is no use of trees for furniture. They are left untouched in forest, and then they bear no fruit. That means there are no food in forest for boars, deer, and monkeys. And as Shibata-san said, they would want to say, this is our fault. Yes, from that point of view, Kanda-san's work along a basin of Ibigawa, that means start of early education for students and children, I think that is very meaningful. But how about the impression of theirs? What kind of impression do they have? Well, people living in the upstream, people say that trees have to be cut down. That was a surprise to us. Protection of environment seems to mean that we need to just leave the trees untouched. However, the forest, particularly with some human manipulations, need to be cut on a periodic basis, and that is good for mountains and then made a contribution to the environment. That is a big surprise to elementary school and high school students. Yes, and also Ueki-san just planted sendan trees and then took a picture, and then he invited small children for the event of planting sendan trees as well. How is their reaction? Yes, we were worried about bringing these children to the mountains, but they are so excited in the mountains, and also it leaves very clear and strong memories in their mind. That is very meaningful. And then I met with a child who joined this project 3 years ago, and he said now this tree is growing very much to become a very thick tree. And I responded that is true, and you have to be like a tree. You have to be nice, good grown-up in the future. I can have that kind of conversation with the children who join this event. One Health shouldn't be taken so seriously, but still Fujino-san talked about a very important problem. Yes, eventually we have to think about that problem when we get old. People get old eventually. So, for example, Oka-san trains rescue dogs. So, do you have any comment on a new project or anything else. Yes, maybe a new approach may be necessary. I got involved in this animal welfare in 2003 or 2004 when hundreds of 1,000 dogs and cats were put to sleep. Thanks to the effort of people, this number has reduced to several tens of thousands level, but still there remains a problem we cannot solve. Of course, owners are very careful and try to foresee the future with pet life, but still there are some animals we cannot rescue. In that sense, as a kind of a last resort, Fujino-san's trust fund may be a very nice idea. There may be something we can do in collaboration with them. There is one thing that concerns me a little bit, so I want to ask, and that is about environment. Of course, there may be no absolute need to think about it, but about the posthumous presentation, the Fujino-san's work, do you have any idea or thought on the environment? Well, when it comes to environment, natural environment or living environment, there may be many different categories of environment we can consider. What we can do is to think about how to improve a living environment. So, better family environment, better husband and wife environment, or parent-child environment. By making this environment better, to think about many things, I think simply saying we can be more kind and more gentle. So I hope to help create the basis to build such kind of an optimal environment. I understand. I asked this question because I was wondering how you take the One Health concept in your own positions. Now I think I have a better understanding. This may be true as well. People may have their own understanding on One Health concept different than ours. This is fine. The other day, as you may know, fortunately, Fukuoka Prefecture enacted the One Health Promotion Ordinance probably for the first time in Japan. Well, it may take a lot of patience to read through this ordinance, and very few people try to read this document, but I believe today's panelists have thumbed through this ordinance. I believe Kanda-san has been involved in this kind of work before, so you may know better than us. What do you think about this ordinance? Yes, this is great. That is my first impression. How is it great? When it comes to One Health primary ordinance, oftentimes it discusses principles of a philosophy, and that's all. But Fukuoka's ordinance is very specific. And if Shibata-san publish a booklet to explain this ordinance, probably it is easy for people to understand how this is relevant and how they can use this information. To be specific, what the government has to do is stipulated in detail in this ordinance, such as drafting plans, installing new systems, setting up a base post, and so on and so forth, because they want this ordinance to be used by various stakeholders, including groups and organizations of citizens, and how to support such activist organizations, and how to proceed registration of promotion entities. That kind of things are also included in this ordinance. If you want to do something as groups or organizations, you can start immediately, whether you are profit or non-profit organizations. Many different types of groups can be involved according to this ordinance. Of course, the ordinance refers to this pandemic in its beginning and last part. This gives us a hint that this may be offer some exit for us to break through this pandemic hardship. Fukuoka has done a great job with this ordinance. we hope to follow them in Gifu as well. Yes, I agree. This forum has many subcommittee sessions, and the theme we can discuss here in this session is closest to ordinary citizens. Of course, there are many themes we have to discuss, such as antimicrobial resistance and others, but when it comes to this ordinance, though this is my personal feeling, the things that the specialists have to do are suggested. And thanks to this ordinance, people may be able to more easily start their own project and provide data to specialists. I think this is a positive change. I appreciate this ordinance personally. In other subcommittee sessions, specialists are discussing different themes, but the discussions produce nothing without practice. There must be practice after discussion, and the practice has to produce some result. As Kanda-san said, this is not just another ordinance. I'm impressed. Oka-san, how about you? Thank you. Yes, I have read this ordinance, particularly, I think, Article 2. Article 2 was a surprise. It gives a basic philosophy. To sum up this article, as I explained in my presentation, it refers to subjective status of health. I've been doing this project for 18 years, therapy dogs. It is true that the numbers, assessment, and the verification, they are very important, but there are many things that we cannot evaluate only with such method. That aspect is pointed out well in this article that surprised me. This understanding can be a push for us to expand the range of activities further, hopefully. One thing I'd like to say, that is Article 9, if I correct. Section 5 touched upon animal welfare in ordinary life and also disaster times. And the phrase of rescued dogs is used often as well. I truly appreciate the Fukuoka Veterinary Medical Association. This is exciting and also a pressure if you want to be involved in this project. But I can say this ordinance is great. Yes, this is a pressure, but worth doing. And yes, this is a very good opportunity for the people to understand what we want to do. So from that point of view, yes, ordinance is a must, but you expect participation of ordinary citizens. It is easy to say, but from your point or from your viewpoint, specifically, what kind of things do we have to do? What kind of action is necessary? Uegi-san, what do you think? Yes, actually, we need to start action. Then what is action? Planting trees. That's why I invite young children when we plant trees. Planting trees is generation of environment. People agree and start taking actions. So for this project of planting trees, I often use this term One Health. The environment must be healthy, and the environment, that means a forest. Okawa is a town of wood crafting. We have to respect the trees. I do my project with other people based on this kind of explanation, and we have to plant the trees. That is my interpretation of One Health. So you live in a river basin. How about you, Kanda-san? Yes. Action 10 deals with public awareness and education. There is a section, Education for One Health Promotion, testing One Health approach at some schools or in communities. This may be a good idea. So, kind of a model project or preparation of materials, we can do something, and I want to join that kind of a project as well. I'm happy if I can do something together. They have this kind of ordinance and do their project accordingly. The prefecture government is very positive in promoting One Health. We are meeting in the session like this, how we can collaborate with each other. I want to think about that. I understand. What we are going to do in a project may make good examples to tell the content of the ordinance, what this article say and what the article say. I think we can just make a good example to spread that message of the ordinance. Fujino-san, what do you think? Well, I think we are in a position to work as an interpreter. And correct interpretation is necessary here. How to take this approach may be different from person to person, but we practice One Health, and people look at that and understand what One Health is. They can understand that not by words or gesture or verbal explanation, but by looking at what we do. In that sense, what we have to do specifically and what we do specifically, that need to be spread and announced publicly. That is important as well. People who support our project also say that we need cooperation by all means. How to expand the circle for supporters and friends, that is very important, I think. Yes, networking and invitation of supporters are mentioned. I have talked with Oka-san on a similar topic the other day. We have to go out and announce to the public about what we do. As for a rescue dog project, do you want to do something to let your project known to the public in the future? Yes. We have been doing only dog matters as an organization. Dogs are always around us. Of course, some people say they don't like dogs. But when we go outside and do some event with the dogs, many people, including young children and old people, come around us and show their curiosity about pet animals, particularly rescue dogs and therapy dogs, what they do. We need to expose ourselves to the public. Fukuoka has enacted this One Health ordinance. This should stimulate many projects involving more and more physicians and vets as well. We need to join on that kind of occasions and tell about what we do. Looking at what we do with their own eyes is the easiest way to understand. So please let me join. Yes, I made some proposal to Fujino-san before. But of course, Kanda-san and anybody can join from wherever you work. One idea is to create One Health channel for public relations. I have to say that today's panelists, including me, are all men, not so cute, to be honest. No women, no child. Women's viewpoints, elderly people's viewpoints, or Voice of Children who joined Ueki-san's project, and Voice of Student who joined Ibi River project. Perhaps we need to take such various voices into consideration before spreading out the message about One Health. It may make things easier to understand. If we talk just seriously, that may give an impression One Health may be difficult to understand or too much to understand. But if just running around, they think they are cute. If children try to say something, people may pay more attention. So, Kanda-san, you do that already, right? Don't you? Yes. There are some videos I made, stories from local grandpas and grandmas. They are more attractive to the people. That's true. Of course, there may be some language issue. Subtitles may be necessary sometimes, but Shibata-san's idea, that is a very important point. Just a theoretical text explanation has limits. Visuals and intuitive sensing are much easier to see the big picture. That's important. Thank you very much. So going back to the ordinance, Article 8 uses the wording like this. We make effort to work on pioneering a project for One Health. This way of writing makes things more difficult and complicated. Make effort to work on pioneering a project. It sounds to tell us, do make effort, like brainwashing. I don't think this should be handled like that. What we have to do, that's the point. And I talked with the Fujino-san before with about the visuals. Just a serious talk may be more difficult to have people understand. So, creation of easy to understand visually is quite important. So, personally or on behalf of your organization, what is the expectation or advertisement or appeal you want to do? Is there anything you want to say, Fujino-san? Yes, someday in the future we hope to have our own animal protection facilities for dogs and cats. We want to not exactly own, but manage and operate such facilities on our own, because there are some public animal protection centers, and volunteer workers make a lot of efforts. The number of lethal disposal of dogs and cats is much lower than before. But the contact points are short. Even if you want to be a new parent of rescued dogs or cats, you don't know where to go. So that's the problem we face. So there must be some opportunities where people access to rescued dogs and cats. I hope to make that kind of situations or opportunities where people can come casually and touch and see who these dogs and the cats are. Okasan of Japan Rescue is with us today, and he adopted dogs and trained them as search dogs. That is what he does. Well, they might have been killed for convenience of humans, but now they help rescue people or abused or abandoned dogs brought into the facility. But thanks to the Japan Rescue Association, they are healed and trained, and that they would heal people in return later. This is a big cycle. So we hope to have our own facility so that we can run this cycle on our own. That is the challenge we want to do in the future. Thank you very much. I understand well. How about Okasan? Yes, there are many variety of challenges in this community. I tend to only talk about dogs, but as Ueki-san said and Kanda-san said, there are many other social challenges and variety. One issue is as Fujino-san mentioned right now, may be too big if you try to solve it alone. Variety of people, organizations need to be involved and solve these various challenges together. In regard to Fujino-san's ideas of protection facility, if there is a room of collaboration, we have our own knowledge and expertise based on our 25-year experience in Kansai. We can work together, not only us, but also local citizens can join. Then this project may make a good model in Fukuoka and expand potentially to Gifu, Kanda-san's place, and other places in Japan, hopefully. We have a head office in Hyogo, but we can work in Kyushu as well. So as an organization, we want to consider that possibility as well. Thank you. Ueki-san, about the future project? I want to keep doing what I've been doing. One Health equals planting ascendant trees. This SGD badge, usually this is made of metal, cold metal, but this one is Sendan. I put the Sendan brand to everything. In my understanding, this is One Health. This is the way to be healthy. I explain that concept or philosophy to the people, from children to elderly people, when they come to the forest. I want to promote this project further. Excellent. Kanda-san, lastly, is there anything you want to say? Yes, tasty or beautiful events attract people with a strong appealing power, needless to say. Our town, Tarui, is a small town with a population of 27,000. We have a Fair Trade Day event every year, and about 10,000 people come. Fair trade, local production, local consumption, and river basin. We take such topics. We hope to grow this event further, inviting people of welfare field as well. Today, I heard the project, what they're doing in Fukuoka, and I feel a potential of collaboration. Fair trade, the concept of fair trade and local production and local consumption, I believe they match the concept of One Health and a sustainable society. I met with Oka-san and Fujino-san today. There may be something we can do together. We can have animals join our project. And if you have some event in Fukuoka and they feel our expertise may help, why don't you please reach me? So that is how I feel. Thank you. Thank you very much. I have been serving as moderator of this session. My impression is similar to what the other panelists said in terms of a general concept of One Health. But I think we need to talk on the same level of ordinary people. Well, some people say that is a true basic, but we need to go back to the original. One Health is not a difficult thing. As other panelists say, One Health is just some aspect of their daily lives. The episode of harmful wild animals is one example. We have to protect the environment, otherwise we have to pay a price, something like that. So this kind of opportunities where people can come and talk frankly is necessary. Seminars, forum, symposium, whatever the forum, people will come, and of course the specialists will come, but people can have a very open discussion. Such kind of a thing, incorporating a citizen's voice, is particularly important in One Health. That is a key to see the penetration of One Health in the community. Whether One Health succeed or future, I think that is a key element. Lastly, but I want to say something about my PR and promotion activities. Two topics. I think I have a picture I can share with you. This product is a Schubert. The content liquid is prepared by a sake brewery company in Chikugo where I work. They had some trouble about how to sell this product. This is alcohol because of this COVID pandemic. They wanted to turn their business profitably, but eventually they came up with a lot of ideas. As we discussed, as a result of collaboration through networking, you can see the wood block with the word One Health printed on it, illustration of a dog and cat as well. This is a Sendan wood block that Ueki-san talked about a lot with enthusiasm. We thought there may be something more we can do for local business. This is Sendan box making and alcohol filling work and packaging, that is commercialization of this product, that is outsourced to a welfare group of disabled people. They work hard. Yes, they truly work hard. As humans, somebody needs me. That kind of a feeling is a power to live. This is a philosophy of One Health in a sense. I'm involved in this project and try to just start mass production of this product. So we can offer working opportunities and profit to local community. One more thing related to PR, another topic. This is what we call One Health Car. This is another way of PR, One Health Car. The name indicates what we want to do, yellow and dashing. This drives around in Fukuoka Prefecture visiting schools and other places. Originally, this is a kitchen car. We need to be careful, particularly if we want to handle foods under this COVID pandemic, but there is no reason that we shouldn't use this kitchen in this car. We looked at Fukuoka's local food products such as Hakata chicken and Yame. Our neighbor and Ueki-san mentioned as well the name of this place. This Yame produces very tasty tea leaves, Yame tea. This cow can be used to advertise Yame tea as well. And as Oka-san suggested, brochures, PR booklet can be distributed to children and other people using this car. We want to start that kind of things this year. As I said at the beginning, One Health Crate is established for PR and promotion activities. That is the first mission. But there can be many different ways to do in collaboration with other people. Of course, Kanda-san and other groups and organizations work in Japan, we want to do together with them to promote One Health as much as possible through the community. I'm speaking a little bit too long, but I hope to have this kind of session again with you to promote One Health. One idea is to bring our dogs or Oka-san's dogs and have them sit in front of us, and we will be discussing One Health from behind. That may be interesting as well. But anyway, I want to conclude this session with a big smile. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kanda-san, as well. Thank you.